reports from the Privacy Commissioner came out yesterday. We had 2 of them.
Scathing.
They were scathing.
I'm overusing the word scathing, but in this case it was
an apt word. I think it's a good word for this. So, Paula, you read them. I read them as well. Yes. They were not particularly flattering of the Alberta Justice or Executive Council or the Public Affairs Bureau.
Yeah, no, I mean, so these were 2 separate reports, one into chronic backlogs in Alberta Justice, which all of us who have filed FOIP requests with Alberta Justice know. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, as a matter... I
feel like Keith's going to be just looking at this going, yelp, tell me about it.
I mean, it's a matter of course that, I mean, they have 30 days to respond. I mean... So you're lucky if at the end of 30 days they send you a note that says, sorry, too busy to respond. It takes months and sometimes years to get a FOIP request through. So the report into the Justice Department, I mean, it flagged some problem issues. It turns out that there are 3 individuals in the province who are responsible for more than 30% of all the FOIP requests to justice.
That's wacky.
One of them is an inmate. One of them is an MLA, and one of them is a regular person, and it's not me. So you know,
would technically be classified a member of the media, I think. Paula.
So no members of the media made the list of the bad 3 or the busy 3. So you know, the report says 1, they need more staff to deal with this, but also the report flagged a very troubling, you know, culture within justice, where, you know, within government, of disdain for the FOIP Act, of disrespect for the whole process of freedom of information, of senior managers who were being obstructionist when FOIP officers tried to get information. In the Public Affairs Bureau, and this made my hair stand on end, every single FOIP request was reviewed first by a senior bureaucrat and then by the senior financial officer before it was even given to a FOIP officer to action.
I think people should realize that when you're putting in a FOIP request as a journalist, you have this layer, which is that you are talking to a FOIP officer who is generally, I mean, probably like 80% of the time, they're really like keen, they're happy to help you, they are on the side of transparency, but then they have to go to this bureaucracy, whoever you're FOIPing, whoever it is, if it's the police or the Justice Department or something, and then get them to get their wheels moving. And they have a limited amount of tools they can use to get that moving. And most of the time, you're just talking to them and saying, well, I'm doing all I can, like we're trying to get things moving, and they can't really tell you what's going on. So it is easy to get that impression that there's a real disdain on the other side of that FOIP coordinator for what you're trying to do. And it goes back to the culture in human services too, which is a culture of, you know, like
closing ranks,
which is a culture of closing ranks, and that is really hard to break. That's something that has to come from the top, and it has to trickle down, and it has to sort of permeate the whole organization. And it's the same with FOIP, where there is, and I'm not saying that this is necessarily everywhere, but in the bureaucracy, there is kind of this sense that we're trying to get work done. This is a distraction. People don't need to know what we're doing because don't worry, we're doing the right thing. And the idea that we as journalists would be questioning that is kind of insulting to them. And that, I mean, that's a tough thing to get through, right? And as a manager, I think you'll notice this too in political parties and leaders, where if there's sort of this like culture of people who criticize us are the enemy, that will permeate through the whole party. And it's just something that I think needs to come from the top. It's something that I think people need to understand from the beginning, that FOIP is part of good governance, and good governance as a whole benefits everyone.